Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Round 5 of the Throttle Freaks GT3 League rolls into the roller coaster of Portimao. 45 minutes on the Algarve circuit will test every crest, every drop, and every ounce of nerve these GT3 drivers have left. Engines primed, field locked in. Throttle Freaks GT3 circuit the Algarve awaits. Whoever wants to do the race up. Hilarious. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to the first blooper indeed of the show, and we're here live on Racers Nexus. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, guest in the commentary booth once more, joined by the one and only Mr. Richard Swindells, who we have yet to give a nickname to, ladies and gentlemen, but we do, however, have Mr. Rob the Goatee Campbell working the production controls. Well, I've got to say, Richard, it is a pleasure to be back here on Racer Nexus. Desperate times, or indeed amusing times it may be. Certainly good to be back.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you back, Zippy. You know, Zippy, I was thinking earlier today, I'm going to be professional. I am not going to crack up. You had me cracking up and losing it a couple of times last race. Well, you did it at the intro. I already failed my mission, but we're going to go on board here. Go back to the racing action. We've got Throttle Freaks here, and I'm going to call it at Portimao so we don't mispronounce anything. Week 5, this is fantastic racing, great track, big difference from Daytona.
Well, definitely a refreshing change indeed. I think last time I was here it was at Sachsenring, if I'm not mistaken, but I could obviously be mistaken. Ladies and gentlemen, I try to be humour, or at least something like close, but definitely good to see that we are indeed back, ladies and gentlemen, and loving the rock anthem we got going on in the background. It's fair to say, you know, I'd like to think I'm cool enough to be a rock guy, but I'm definitely not in that category. But you know what we probably should do, Richard? Let's have a look at some points. Well, a little bit of a shocker there. As we have a look here at the GT3 Pro, and right now you can see him in the background. It's Jack Hedgecox. He's there leading by just 10 points. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely incredible competition, and it gets even tighter. Aaron Morgan and Tyler Graf, just 4 points between them, separating second and third. Brett Verman, though, a little bit of a gap, 22 points there. He's 7 points clear of Jay Steffi, who's in P5. That rounds it up for the GT3 Pro.
Yeah, in the GT3 Pro round, we've got Jerome Berthiaume with a commanding lead over Seb Goche in second. Just 2 points back of him in third is Josh Go and Dale Peterson. He's 10 points back, tied with Herbert Pineda for fifth.
Oh, absolutely fantastic stuff as we head over to the GT3 AM class, being led by James Jensen by just 5 points with an 11-point lead over Stephen McFarlane, who takes third. Jacob Fichtner, he takes fourth with 107 points, just 3 points clear of Nick Bruno, who's currently rounding out your top 5. But saying that, just 3 points again, holding that battle in, ladies and gentlemen. But here we go. Here is the team championship standings, ladies and gentlemen. Madworks at the top of the food chain, ladies and gentlemen. This is the king of the jungle with 368 points. Solpec Precision Racing Black there in second with 352. A little bit of a 16-point gap. And then again, we've got a 10-point gap to Going Racing. Rounded out your top 3. More competition, though, heading out throughout the championship. And indeed, we're just round 5.
Yeah, just round 5. We still got lots of racing to go. We've got... by my Richard math, Zippy, well, we've done 4 races. We've got 6 to go in this series. So right now, though, Jack Hedgecote has got provisionally on pole with just under 5 minutes qualifying left. Steve McDonald in close second. Gonzalo Cortez up there as well in third.
Oh, absolutely fantastic stuff so far. And you can see we've got a little bit of a mixture on the classes. Ladies and gentlemen, Colin McKenzie, he's mixing it up there. Just give me 1 second here, gents.
Yeah, Colin McKenzie mixing it right up there. He's leading his class, and we have James Hand leading the amateurs. So Jack Hedgecote, looks like William Fenson just moving a little positions there. But so far so good. We've got Jack Hedgecote out front. We've got leading his class Colin McKenzie and James Hand. So just over 4 minutes left in qualifying today.
Oh, absolutely fantastic stuff. Here we go. Jack Hedgecote currently leading it, and not only that, it's incredibly close. We see a little bit of movement there from Jay Steppy. As not only that, Gonzalo Cortez moves himself up to the second spot. What incredibly close competition, ladies and gentlemen. Just 1/100th of a second between himself and Stephen McDonald. Ford versus Mercedes, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
Definitely fantastic stuff. We take a look at the Mercedes of Steve McDonald going around the track. This is a very technical track with huge elevation changes. Be interesting to see how the drivers adapt, but no surprise who's up front. It's the same drivers we're used to seeing. Jack Hedgecote, Steve McDonald, Gonzalo Cortez back up front again as well.
Indeed, absolutely cracking stuff. And certainly we're looking forward to seeing a little bit more of a safe race for a couple of these drivers. Certainly last time I was in here, we did see a little bit of chaos, panic, and disorder, not just in the booth, ladies and gentlemen, but on the racetrack as well. But right now, James Hand's looking pretty good in that Porsche. He's currently leading the AM class standings. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, we got a driver cam, and I've got to say, I am absolutely loving the ambient lights there. Certainly, it would definitely be my colors indeed. And it looks like he's rocking a GT Omega rig. Certainly, that's actually my first real cockpit was one of those. So fair play to him. Good choice of gear.
Yeah, not only that, Zippy, he's also from the UK, racing from the UK. So he's no wonder you like him so much.
Poor man, poor man. May he find his escape at one point, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness, just over 2.5 minutes of qualifying left right now, folks. Taking a look at this Solpec Precision Racing, I believe that is Jerome Berthiaume we're following right now.
Oh, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there, last time I was in, he definitely did have a rough race. He ended up getting into a little bit of friendly fire with his teammate, but hopefully that was not going to be the case on this occasion for the Solpec Precision Racing Yellow team, being led currently by the Colin McKenzie. Whoa. Excuse me, the Acura of Colin McKenzie is absolutely dominating. He's up there in P5.
Yeah, Colin McKenzie, and nice to see him. He's putting some fantastic pace tonight. We haven't seen that much pace out of him all season long. He's been involved in a couple of little incidents, but he's on fire tonight, Zippy. Good showing by Colin McKenzie.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you I'm now medicated, so we should be all right, and it's not the ones that you're thinking of, Richard. Nothing quite that good, but indeed we can see here Dave Jensen as well. Look at that selfie, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Lunatic Racing as well. Indeed, it looks like he's trying to hide the beast within, and that beast is very much trying to escape out that race car. You can see a little bit of the livery there, really demonstrating that. That's absolutely. We had a blooper in the, I believe it was on a Lamborghini last time, and this time it's going to be in the form of the AMG. The front of, nope, it was this car. It's the same car, ladies and gentlemen. I remember pointing out the rear arches on this, indeed the towing company, but indeed it looks like we got a little bit of a hobby there on the front. Indeed, the man appears to be a pipe fitter.
Yeah, he's Dave Jensen. Used to see him having some good pace. Dave Jensen sitting in 21st right now. He's laying pipe, as it says on the hood, getting them work around quite well around Portimao.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, certainly we have different priorities here in the booth. Obviously, calling the racing is number one, but certainly for me, making my comrade burst into a fit of laughter is definitely pretty high up there as well. Don't get me wrong, if we could make him finish as high in the race as I could make him finish laughing, he would indeed be a podium contender. Maybe not in this strength of field, but certainly in some of the league races he's been getting on with. Indeed, Richard has had some potent races recently, but right now, Stephen McDonald trying to go and close in, try and make his way forward as Jerome Berfium in the 217. He's currently just 4 thousandths of a second behind the 34 of Peter Measure.
Yeah, he's nice and tight, but we're running out of time. Just 5 seconds left of qualifying, so as the drivers come around to complete this lap, that will be the end of qualifying for them, so it's now or never. Steve McDonald's looking for pole. Just got to make it happen here.
Oh, definitely you need to get a good, clean lap, ladies and gentlemen. It's currently 0.2 per second. That's not pocket change, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly you got to use all of the track limits. You can see there, really using as much of it as he possibly can as he makes his way up the hill, heading down towards the right hander, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Algarve, definitely not on the Princess-approved track list, as indeed you can see there, a little bit of debris. That could be a little bit of a problem there, just trying to get traction on corner exit. But right now, he's got to find 0.2 of a second on Jack Hedgecock. So we've got to be honest, it's been an absolute machine every time I've seen him out.
Yeah, Jack Hedgecock has been a machine, that's for sure. Wasn't necessarily his week last week, but Jack Hedgecock's coming back with a vengeance right now in professional pole. We're liking Jack Hedgecock's going down across the start-finish line. His qualifying effort is over. So far, just waiting for Steve McDonald to see if he can beat him.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You can see here, definitely a little bit of a mix-up here in the standings. We've got a lot of the pros at the top, but indeed Colin McKenzie in the Pro-Am absolutely snaking his way there into P5. And indeed, if you look at the amateur class, the British man of James Hand doing an absolutely phenomenal job there of being there in P13. Not only that, he's 0.9 of a second off the lead lap. That's fair play by any means. Definitely a good achievement there. Jack Hedgecock, in case you're wondering, 4,106 I rate. And indeed, Stephen McDonald, 8,059. That is absolutely diabolically fast. James Hand, 2,111. It just goes to show that this man obviously has got some pace.
Yeah, James Hand's been showing some great pace all season long this season. So nice to see improvements from James, and hopefully get some good results today after that great qualifying effort.
Yeah, definitely. Doing a fast qualifying time is one thing, but you need to have the racecraft to keep it on the track and indeed make them positions. Certainly myself, I'm more of a racecraft guy than I am for a straight outright pace guy, but I should definitely get involved in a little bit of driver training. I would name drop at this point. I don't know if I'm allowed, but certainly there's a particular academy, ladies and gentlemen, which I am very much a fan of. But definitely, if you want to get fast, Apex Sim Racing, I'm sure can be a benefit as well.
Yeah, Apex Sim Racing, one of the sponsors, helping us put on this broadcast for you each week.
Not only that, we also have track cams for gourmets. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering how we make the stream look this sexy, it's not commentator cams. We don't have those on this channel. Certainly, I don't think that would be the case, but it is indeed track cams for gourmets. They definitely take pride in making it look as realistic as possible. And then not only that, I can tell you that Rob Campbell has invested an absolute small fortune, ladies and gentlemen, in equipment, and indeed is running a very sophisticated setup, which honestly I think NASA may contact him and ask him to sort that out. But in the meantime, let's take a look here at the grid. Jack Hedgecock, he takes pole with Stephen McDonald alongside in second. Gonzalo Cortez, he's there in third, and Tyler Graff in fourth. Colin McKenzie takes fifth with William Fenton in sixth. Jay Steffi takes seventh with Jason Park, the Canadian driver, ladies and gentlemen, in eighth. Felix Feliz, he takes ninth with Jared Keane in 10th, with Brett Furman in 11th, and Silly Sad rounding out your top 12.
And we have James Hand in 13th with Ryan O'Connor in 14th. Jeff Evans 15th with Kevin Burquist beside him. Karsten Quist in 17th with Sean Provo in 18th. Mark Kalin, Pete Mejia rounds out the top 20. 21st we have Jerome Berthume, Dave Jensen 22nd, and then we have Nick Bruno in 23rd with David Morrison 24th.
Having a look there at 25th, we're going to have Andrew Venaro for Riley Racing with Josh Goen alongside in 26th. Herbert Pineda, he takes 27th with Ian Cabana in 28th. Matt Taylor, he takes 29th from Frank Pisano, rounding out your top 30. Dale Peterson, the spiciest livery we've seen here in Throttle Freaks. Despite laying a pipe, he wasn't able to lay down the quickest qualifying time. He's back in 31st with Evan Jones in 32nd. Barry Cochran in 33rd with Neil Alexander in 34th. Jude Rees, he takes 35th with Christopher Rhines, rounding out 36th.
That's a 36 car field on this very technical track, Zippy. That's gonna, I think we're gonna see a lot of close racing.
Well, it should be an absolute belter, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the stands, absolutely out here. All of these drivers obviously want to meet Richard Swindells. I mean, that's got to be it, ladies and gentlemen. The talented mastermind that he is in the commentary booth there, as he's muted himself, ladies and gentlemen. We got him already. That's got to be twice or 3 times. What do we do? Can we get like a counter on the screen or something, Rob, for every time we make Richard crack up? That'd be hilarious. Right now, though, you see...
Zippy. That was just a cough on that one, but...
I call cough for allergies on that one. I call... excuse me. Allergies, as you can see there. We're on the board with the back of the pace car, and I got to say, that Ferrari... It's an absolutely stunning looking car, but Richard, I mean, it's got bronze, gold wheels. Like, it's always going to score well in this commentator's point of view.
Well, you know, that's a classic combo, isn't it, Zippy? We've got drivers starting to warm up their tires, going uphill, downhill on this 15-corner circuit with huge elevation changes and multiple tricky corners.
Yeah, definitely a challenging circuit indeed. Quite a little bit of elevation change as well, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I'm not too experienced driving the GT3s, not for many years at least, ladies and gentlemen. When the tyre model updated many years ago, ladies and gentlemen, I actually realised I've been doing iRacing for about 6-7 years now. And I have had a couple of vacations in that time. I'd like to say they were all on my own doing, but I'd be lying, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly some valuable lessons learned on the iRacing sporting code at various times in my iRacing career, as brief and short as it is in success. But certainly I've not driven the GT3s in a competitive environment for quite some time. And my understanding is the tyre model, you've really got to bring these up to temperature quite softly, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to kind of, preheat the oven a little bit there, get the grip nice and bedded in, and indeed that's what you need to hit before you can really, just start getting a little bit of meat behind it and pushing it.
That's my understanding as well, Zippy, but like you said, I'm not necessarily a GT3 expert, as these drivers are. Just another corner to go after this one, then they're going to be getting on the straightaway. Expect to see the pace car pulling off very shortly, and then this field will be under the control of Jack Hedgecogs.
Well, that man has been an absolute man, and indeed one with the machine, ladies and gentlemen. If we got any closer, he could be in the next Transformers movie, certainly himself. And indeed, we've got to name the car at some point. That would be good. We've got to name some of these cars, Richard. Start thinking of some names. Certainly, I'm not going to name Dave Cochran's, not Dave Cochran's, who am I thinking of? Dave Jensen's, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly that Mercedes, I'm sure, has got a few names. Certainly it's sponsored by a plumbing and a towing company. He's well supported indeed. But right now, it's going to be up to Jack Hedgecock, the driver of the number 88. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go, away we go. And already you see a good couple of cars there getting into single file. It was the Tyler Graf there in that 911. Look to try and cover off and make a little bit of a defense there. But already facing an attack there. Colin McKenzie, he was up in P5, drops back to P6 in that beautiful, beautiful Acura. As you see, one of the Lamborghinis running wide through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, taking it 3-4 wide back there through turns 1 and 2, but all the cars falling in line, Zippy. Looks like we've got a pretty decent start. Jack Hedgecogs takes them off. Steve McDonald behind him. The first person to move up is William Fence, and he's moved up to 5th. So otherwise, top 4 drivers all in order that they started.
Absolutely fantastic so far. I am getting a notification to say here that Pete Measure is currently up 9 positions in the McLaren. That is absolutely insane. We've not even finished the first lap yet, and indeed, he's still going to go toe-to-toe here with that beautiful AMG. Don't get me wrong, 2 very, very different cars. The McLaren, certainly the original McLaren GT3 was a little bit of a widowmaker, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly the second generation of this car, that beautiful, beautiful made in England, ladies and gentlemen, McLaren is doing absolutely fantastic. Up 8 spots so far, but saying that, Josh Goen in the 888 Ferrari, he's also up 9 spots as well, currently resting in P17 overall.
Yeah, Josh Goen Racing had himself a very strong effort, up 9 places, as you said.
Oh no, that's Hedgecogs!
Hedgecoke's has gone around. It looks like Tyler Graff, we'll have to take a replay and see what happened there later on. That's causing more calamity back behind.
Yeah, that definitely is not what he had in mind. Looks like Jeff Evans took a scenic route as well. Let's find out exactly what happened to the number 88 here. So going solo at this point, and we're going to see a little bit of cold tire syndrome, ladies and gentlemen. And yep, that is exactly what happened. Thankfully, able to get away with no damage. Backs that car up out of the track. And unfortunate though it may be, emerged pretty lucky there, as that was not so lucky further back, ladies and gentlemen. Who on earth was that? Certainly the marshmallow coloured car appeared to have a little bit of a setback there with Jeff Evans in the number 51. What a back racing did he? What a back did it come from? As indeed gets a little bit of a tank slapper going and cuts across the grass.
Totally unrelated, but Pete Mejia is taking a little bit of damage there, that looked like, so we'll have to see how that affects him going forward. But up front, we've got Gonzalo Cortez now leading the charge. Gonzalo Cortez with Steve McDonald in behind him. Tyler Graff up to third, William Fenson fourth, Jason Park fifth. But right now, this is Gonzalo Cortez to go and see what he can do.
Well, certainly Gonzalo Cortez was indeed an incredibly potent driver the first time I saw him. It's definitely a force to be reckoned with. He was untouchable on pace, as Colin McKenzie is dropping through the order as well. He's currently down 16, 17 and falling positions, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there in the number 15 car, absolutely catastrophic monumental fall back through the field. As, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite McLaren has just gone by purely by the paint job. Let's find out exactly what happened to the driver, the Lunatic Racing number 15.
Oh man, that's just an unfortunate slide. The back end come around and off into the dirt he goes. Colin McKenzie falling down the field. Fortunately, doesn't look like he took any damage.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of cold tire syndrome going on here, as indeed Rob knows exactly which McLaren I'm on about. It's Neil Alexander as he sends a little bit of a dive there on the inside, as we see here further back through the field. Let's keep an eye here on Tyler Graff, absolutely loving those Mad Works paints, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the 771, the pop art liveried Porsche, currently resting in P3 there, up one position from the start. The American driver, though, he's got a lot of work ahead of him if he wants to chase down the AMG of Stephen McDonald. 8,059 iRating versus 2,605. He is going to have to work incredibly hard, as indeed he's about 9/10 of a second behind the AMG of Stephen McDonald.
Yeah, iRating's one thing, Zippy, but determination experience is another. Tyler Graff is certainly determined and does have some tremendous pace and has shown that for a number of seasons here. A lot of racers just racing league races only. That doesn't affect their rating, doesn't show the true colors and the true strength that he has.
Yeah, definitely you can get sandbagged by a few people who only do league races, ladies and gentlemen, as Gonzalo Cortez has just set the fastest lap of the race, ladies and gentlemen, with a 1:42.032. Stephen McDonald, though, no slouch by any means, just 0.05 of a second slower. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely incredible pace from these drivers. Looking back through the field, a good portion of them are in the 1:44 region. Ladies and gentlemen, these two guys are absolutely flying here, as we take a little bit of an on-board with Felix Feliz, who's currently in P8, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Felix Feliz, P8, but P3 in his Pro-Am class, so Felix Feliz is up one position on the day, taking advantage of that earlier incident, but falling on board behind Jared Keane. Jared Keane making a switch this week, so Jared Keane now looks like he's driving the Lamborghini, so new car for Jared this week.
Definitely, I want to be the person who funded that change of wheels, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I was classy driving a Volvo, but certainly a Lamborghini, yeah, I'm very much okay with that until I have to pay to repair it, as that is exactly why I like the Lamborghini. That is not just a sound, ladies and gentlemen, that is a motion of 12 cylinders doing what they do best, going pop, bang, and wow, generating an absolutely incredible amount of power and an incredible amount of smiles on this commentator's face.
Oh, anything to make you happy, Zippy. Jared Keane.
Anything?
Well, anything as we continue on with the racing action. Cars going
up the counter, Rob.
39 minutes in, we're going to go back on board here with Jack Hedgecoke's on the inset. We've got the leader, Gonzalo Cortez, and Stephen McDonald up in the main screen. Good close battling all around. Jack Hedgecoke's looking to get back into this, though.
Yeah, definitely. We know he's He's got pace, and ladies and gentlemen, he has indeed taken the fastest lap now with a 141.472, but he's got Felix Feliz right ahead of him, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have to work very, very hard. The more time he gets held up behind the rest of this field, the more that the leaders are going to get away. Gonzalo Cortez and Steve McDonald both doing 141.5s. He's not going to be able to catch up with just a 1/10 of a second advantage, especially as well as he's 6.5 seconds back from the leader of the race.
While that's going on, James Hand continues to lead the amateur class. So James Hand up one position, 12th overall, having a great effort. We're falling on board with the leaders, though. Gonzalo Cortez having himself a good battle with Steve McDonald. There's James Hand, our in-car camera. James Hand falling along behind Brett Thurman. So James Hand on fire tonight.
Yeah, he is absolutely on it, ladies and gentlemen, indeed. As we got a change for the lead, I believe, Gonzalo Cortez, there must have been an incident. He was up leading the race, and he's already dropped there to 6th, 7th, 8th, ladies and gentlemen. What on earth happened to the mighty Mustang, the PLR Sim Sports machines of Cortez?
Yeah, we're coming down the start-finish line, going into corner 1. Gonzalo Cortez hard on the brakes, getting off, all 4 wheels off, a little off balance, spinning around, sliding out. Now he's got to kind of wait for an opportunity to get back into it. Car's coming around the corner. Looks like he had a nice safe rejoin, but lost tremendous amount of positions there, Zippy.
Yeah, definitely not what he had in mind, but indeed we just saw what's his name gone? Where has he gone? The Ferrari there of Jack Hedgecox. That's the one I'm looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely sailed by, and now we got these two drivers really close together. Oh no, not my McLaren! Absolutely murdered in the back end. What happened there, ladies and gentlemen? I know these guys are very talented drivers, but at that particular occasion, they appear to be playing the accordion. Let's find out here. You see the McLaren ahead. Gets on the corner exit, and I'm thinking just up, slows down, goes on the inside of the Lamborghini, and then the AMG of Dale Peterson just that bit closer and ends up absolutely starring as John Travolta, because indeed his face was off.
Oh no, that was just an awful incident, but we're going to go back here, see what's going on with Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff, because of the spins of others, up to 2nd place. 2 positions up on his day. Tyler Graff's got about a 1.6 second gap ahead to Steve McDonald in 1st. William Fenson moving up to 3rd place. William Fenson just 9/10 behind it. Tyler Graff at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff there from that Pop Art Porsche indeed, as Jack Hedgecox has just made his way up to P6, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he is starting to make some moves. That incident earlier on did help him with the position a little bit there. He got Gonzalo Cortez now back there in 8th. Not only that, he's about 2 seconds, 1.8 seconds roughly behind Hedgecox. But saying that, he's still got 6.5 seconds to catch up. And indeed, Jay Steffi is going to be next on the chopping block, ladies and gentlemen. Can Steffi hold off that mighty Ferrari of the number 88?
Yeah, I'm guessing Jack is looking to prove a point now and make up as many positions as possible. I think it's going to be really, really difficult at this stage to get all the way up to 1st where Steve McDonald's sitting. But still looking for a podium is Jack Hedgecox, but Jay Steffi's going to have something to say about that, I think.
Yeah, certainly Jay Steffi is indeed in the same class as well. He is definitely under no obligation or no incentive to let this guy pass. If I was him, I would honestly fight as hard as humanly possible. Don't get me wrong. You got to ask yourself, is he going to catch up to the 55 of Jason Park? Currently, he is in that draft range. He's about 8/10 of a second. And then on outright pace, there's only 3/10 of a second between himself and Hedgecox. So realistically, these guys are pretty similarly matched. Not only that, on the last lap though, Hedgecox able to take away roughly about 7/10 of a second from him. So you got to wonder as well, is it going to be strategically beneficial to let Hedgecox go by, or is he better off defending with everything that mighty Porsche has to offer?
Yeah, I think on pace alone right now, Jack's demonstrated he's got the pace to easily get by these guys. I don't expect it too much of an effort or too much of a fight being put up, but we shall see, Zippy. The best passing opportunity, of course, is entering turn 1 as they're just doing right now, but pace Jack Hedgecox is on. He may want to try and get by a little bit earlier.
Yeah, definitely. You got to decide just how hard you want to fight. Don't get me wrong. If Jay Steffi can keep applying pressure and start catching up to Jason Park just that little bit more, it could potentially be an opportunity there. Jason Park, however, he is in the Pro-Am class, ladies and gentlemen, currently having a fantastic time. He's up there in P4. 3 places clear of Jared Clean, who's in that mighty Lamborghini you can see in the background, that green, black, and I guess white or silver Lamborghini there. So don't get me wrong, he's going to want to keep these 2 drivers ahead and give them a little bit better track position as they make their way through the rest of this race.
Yeah, we're on board here. In the little inset, we've following along. I believe that's Kevin Bergquist following along with, and a Provo right ahead of him. So these guys having a good little battle. On the main screen, though, good fight. Jack Edgecote's coming up the inside. Jack Edgecote's getting one pass done here. Looking for a little bit more. Jack Edgecote's getting by Jay Steffi.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. We definitely know he is pretty potent on the brakes, ladies and gentlemen, but it looks like Jay Steffi is looking to fight back, ladies and gentlemen. The Porsche notoriously good on the brakes. The Ferrari good at oversteer, as Jack did indeed demonstrate earlier. Now, don't let that big beard fool you, ladies and gentlemen. This man is incredibly quick, and certainly he's proven it so far. He's currently in P6 over 36 car grid, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of talent in this strength of field. Certainly myself, I went to my best racetrack and I couldn't even keep up at the back of the pack, ladies and gentlemen. This is an incredibly high strength of field race.
And that's why I don't even try, Zippy. But yeah, Jay Steffi, no stranger to Throttle Freaks and good performances in this series. So Jay Steffi had himself a good little race. Unfortunately, Jack Edgecote's by, but still holding in P6.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. So let's try and catch up with some battles elsewhere through the field as well, as we got Herbert Pineda here, who's looking to apply a bit of pressure to the one and only Mr. Dave Jensen, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly oh my gosh, that was feel sorry for the cameraman in that one. They need to change the shreddies, but certainly Dave Jensen there, maybe he can get endorsed by some shreddies as well. Is certainly trying to hold off right now. Herbert Pineda, it is indeed a M class versus a Pro Am, but that's not stopping Dave Jensen. Right now, he's currently in P18, but his next nearest competition is James Hand up ahead. He's currently P2 in the M class. He's got to make sure he keeps the car clean, ladies and gentlemen. How hard do you want to fight? It's all about them championship points at the end of the day.
Certainly is. Herbert Pineda, podium finisher last week, looking to try and recapture some of that glory, but Dave Jensen doing a great job of holding him off right now. Dave Jensen sitting in second place in class in amateur, so Dave Jensen wanted to keep that position. They're not fighting for class position, but it's still more points on the board for him.
Well, as you say that, it looks like Jack Hedgecote has managed to catch up here to the back of Jason Park. He's going to be under attack very soon. But meanwhile, we're keeping an eye here on Nick Bruno as well. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Why choose when you can have both, ladies and gentlemen? As right now, the 38 of Andrew Venaro, that Ferrari, is very much getting a little bit of attention there from Nick Bruno. And this is, don't get me wrong, this is the battle here for P21 overall. As I say that, the Mustang of Carsten Quinn getting involved in that battle as well. We have a three-way fight, and it looks like Matt Taylor looking to try and get a bit of pressure in there as well.
Yeah, while that's going on, Jack Edgecote's continue his charge, trying to get all those positions back. Jack Edgecote's up to 5th place. He's got Jason Park just ahead of him in 4th, so Jack Edgecote's looking to make up some more positions. Jason Park just up ahead. Then just another second up the road is William Fenson in 3rd.
Yeah, Fenson's had a pretty clean race so far. He's up 3 positions in that Ferrari. Certainly did not get caught by the cold tires. And I've got to ask you this one, Richard or Rob. Would this be a fixed setup series? Because certainly you have to wonder as well what kind of adjustments these drivers would want to make. Certainly brake bias would be adjustable, but I do have to wonder what kind of aero trim they would potentially want to set here for a course. So with so much cornering, not only that, some high-speed cornering such as Algarve or indeed Portimao.
Yeah, the only adjustments they can make is the brake bias, Zippy. This is a fixed series, so the setup comes as it is, so you got to drive the car. And right now, look at this good battle here. Jack Edgecote's applying all kinds of pressure to Jason Park. Jason Park hasn't blinked yet. Jack Edgecote sending it deep, a little bit of a tap. Let him know he's there. I don't think he meant to send it in quite that deep, but Jack Edgecote's applying some pressure, and while that's going on, it looks like they're closing the gap down on William Fenson a little bit too.
Yeah, Fenson's going to be under pressure really, really soon, ladies and gentlemen. The Australian driver, definitely it's going to be about 10:23 in the morning for him right now. I'll say that's not too bad, but indeed, right now, that Ferrari, that blue and purple Ferrari there is going to be under attack very shortly. You can see there the Porsche in the background, the 55 of Jason Park is very much reeling him in. That gap down to about 0.6 of a second and closing, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Hedgecote's coming in as well.
Oh, Jack Hedgecote's looking for a move up the inside. Jack Edgecote's getting by at that stage. Now he's on the hunt for William Fenson.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking to apply some pressure. Meantime, the fastest lap being currently held by Stephen McDonald. That 8,000 iRacing driver. Ladies and gentlemen, safety rating's pretty good as well. 4.45 with an A license. He's currently rocking out a 141.349. That was his last lap. Absolutely flying there in that AMG. Not only that, that fixed setup is definitely Personally, myself, I've always preferred fixed setup leagues because it just means it is a test purely on driver, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, right now, he is absolutely driving the wheels off that in the pro class.
Yeah, no big surprise. Steve McDonald's showing great pace all season long. Tyler Graff, though, doing a good job. He's about 4 seconds back, but is holding a solid second. And Tyler Graff liking the battles going on behind him with William Fenson, Jack Hedgecoach, Jason Park. Only problem is Jack Hedgecoach going to get up there, get involved in a little battle with Tyler himself?
Well, certainly the two guys behind are currently lapping that bit quicker. William Fenson and Tyler Graff both lapping in the 42.1, 42.2. Behind them, however, 41.4 and a 41.8. Definitely a little bit of a gap. It can be varied up to about a second to indeed about 0.4 of a second, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly some gains to be had here. They're going to have to put on an absolutely incredible defensive game, but fair play. Jason Park is absolutely on it, ladies and gentlemen. And currently, he's in the GT3 Pro-Am class.
Yeah, 5th overall, and is sitting first in Pro-Am. Quite the good race night for Jason Park. Up 3 positions overall on the day, falling along right now behind Jack Hedgecoach and William Fenson.
Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. But right now, let's try and focus a bit more on some other battles we got going on through the field as well. Looks like we've got a pack of cars there, starting a little bit further back with Brett Furman leading that, actually, ladies and gentlemen. He's currently there in P11, and what an entourage he has behind him. James Hand still currently there in P12. He's doing all right. He's up 1 position, but look behind, ladies and gentlemen, the Ferrari of Josh Gowen is up an incredible 13 positions. Currently the hardest charger in the field.
Yeah, Josh Gowen, teammate to Jack Hedgecoach, having himself a great race, trying to make up for some of those points. Both those drivers charging hard, Zippy. I mean, that's incredible, the pace they've shown. But perhaps all that working together, they both know how to get around this track fast.
Yeah, definitely some potent drivers there, as indeed the blue and gold Ferrari on this occasion compared to the purple and gold. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to get a British Racing green and gold. Just saying there, lads. Make it happen. As indeed, right now, he's currently there in P13. Sean Provost, though, in that Mustang. We haven't really seen too much action from these guys so far today, but don't get me wrong, he is absolutely putting down that loud hammer, indeed letting these horses run free as he's currently trying to chase the opportunities ahead. He's got a Ferrari, a Porsche, and an AMG to contend with, but not only that, look right behind him. This is an absolute train of cars. Ferrari, Ford, Ferrari, all in the mix.
Yeah, it's hard to show all the racing. There's such great action up and down the field while that's going on. Jack Hedgecoach gets ahead of William Fenson, so Jack Hedgecoach up to a podium position now. So, my goodness, he's closing in now. Let's take a look and see maybe what happened here with Christopher Rines.
We can see here that BMW just going there through the, a little bit too much enthusiasm on the gas pedal, ladies and gentlemen. Gets a bit of a drift going, but well held there. As indeed we truly return to my favorite Aston Martin in the field. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe it may be the only Aston Martin in the field being driven by Evan Jones. As oh dear, what a pity. Not quite what he had in mind. Certainly the leopard print front of that appears to have gone somewhere it probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah, that was rather unfortunate. Go back here on board with Jared Keane. Jared Keane in 8th place, falling along behind Felix Feliz. Both drivers up 2 positions on the day. So we're following along here, coming through the midfield section of this course. Jared Keane, look at the elevation change. It's almost like you're going down a roller coaster. You get to the peak and it's just straight downhill. Coming up to applying all kinds of pressure here, Jared Keane. Felix Feliz holding him off for now.
Yeah, definitely Felix is going to have to work very, very hard. But honestly, in this scenario, I would probably feel a little bit more confident in that Mustang. Certainly the Lamborghini is known to have a little bit of a fiery mentality, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the Lamborghini symbol is a raging bull. Certainly comparable to potentially a girlfriend after you've just gone and said something that you probably shouldn't have done. And I think mine can hear me, so I'm definitely going to end that point there. But certainly... you know, it can bite, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it can bite. It can lash out, and indeed, certainly that seems to be what's would be my main concern. But saying that Lamborghini dropped back a little bit now, and under the attack from what I can only describe as a Hot Wheels colored Ferrari, ladies and gentlemen, of Crikey Esports.
Yeah, Crikey Esports, Ian Cabana, Kevin Berquist, no stranger to this paint scheme, Zippy. And the Ferraris looking for the first of our scheduled pit stops. Looks like Brett Thurman coming in a little bit earlier than anybody else. Probably trying to get out of some traffic. He's going to take on field. They're not going to take on tires tonight. They do have that opportunity, but we're going to go back on board with the race action. We've got William Fenson in 4th place now. William Fenson with Jason Park behind him. So William Fenson trying to hold on for 4th. And after Jack Hedrick's getting by, Jerome Berthume sending it. Jerome Berthume in 14th place, getting by Kevin Berquist there. Nice move by Jerome.
Yeah, that definitely must have been a little bit of a send there, because he was fighting with that Mustang not that long ago. So definitely took advantage there of an opportunity with that Solprec Precision Racing machine. Indeed, Precision Racing Yellow, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way up to P14. And indeed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in class, roughly. Zippy math, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't trust it.
Good thing you have 2 hands, Zippy, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get to number 7. But Dave Jensen, speaking of 7, number 17th position overall, up 5 positions of the day, 2nd in his class. So Dave Jensen having himself a good race thus far. Herbert Pineda up ahead.
Well, the joke's on you there, Richard. Indeed, I was using my toes, and one of them's a little shorter. It tends to be the one on the end, ladies and gentlemen. So my eyesight not as good as it was. I believe we may have just got hit number 4 for Richard bursting out laughing, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Pete Measure looking cool in them sunglasses, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe he even wears them at night, as right now he is applying all sorts of pressure to the back of Jeff Evans? No, this is Jeff Evans we're watching. Here we go. Jeff Evans having all sorts of pressure applied to him in that pink and white marshmallow-colored Mustang.
Yeah. And Pete is one of our longtime racers here at Throttle Freaks, and Pete often brings his own fan club in the chat channel. I know his buddies from work quite often watch, so they're just going to love what you're calling his name. We called him Pete Mejia for a long time. It's actually Pete Mejia, so there's some entertainment value for you folks at home, the friends of Pete Mejia. Had himself a good battle right now with Jeff Evans.
Well, Pete Mejia doing an absolutely fantastic job. Certainly, at least he got his name right, ladies and gentlemen. As commentators, we will absolutely pooch it up, as indeed we have a replay here of Gonzalo Cortez. Now, I have been keeping a little bit of an eye on him, ladies and gentlemen, and he has not made the move through the field the same way as Jack Hedgecote did. And certainly that was indeed a move, but not the one he was looking for. The mighty Mustang appeared to be bucking its rider as Gonzalo Cortez says, you know what, that's enough for me, and resets to the pits.
Yeah, his day is done. He's had enough. Gonzalo Cortez, great pace at the beginning, great qualifying effort, but his day is over. Going back on board here, live action. We've got Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff, 2nd overall right now. He's about, what's he, Zippy? He's about 4.5 seconds behind Steve McDonald at this stage. So Tyler Graff having a great race effort. We'll see where he cycles out after everybody's done their pits.
Well, it might just be me, Richard, but I could have sworn that picture was that paint job used to be red as well. But right now you see Jason Park in the Riot Motorsports machine applying all sorts of pressure to the Ferrari of William Fenson as James Hand makes his way down pit road.
Yeah, James Hand, leader of the amateurs, down pit road. So we're starting to see a number of drivers come in now, Zippy. It's a little earlier than normal, but looking with all the traffic, perhaps taking that opportunity to get some free track space. Follow along here with Frank Pisano. Frank, another one of our Ace Motorsports drivers, and another one of our Lamborghinis. So right now, Frank Pisano in 20th place, leading along with Ian Cabana in behind.
Yeah, certainly this could work out really good for that car that's just come out of the pits. They've got somebody at slipstream from them. We've got actually a beautiful Audi R8 just a couple of cars back behind there. Who's that now? I'm trying to spot the Audi, ladies and gentlemen. As indeed, what an absolutely beautiful machine. Sharing the V10 there of that Lamborghini, but certainly with a little bit more German engineering behind it. As what a sound this thing makes. Barry Cochran definitely getting the style points there and looking good while doing it.
Yeah, Barry Cochran, our one and only Audi driver, representing the brand. Barry Cochran, right now he's a lap down, but overall racing quite strongly. Sitting in 35th place, looking to get this thing over with and get into, keep making some clean laps. But right now, Barry Cochran is having himself a decent race, just trying to get back into it here.
It's certainly the Audi actually reminds me of Morgan Smith. He's one of the few drivers I've ever seen really take to the Audi, ladies and gentlemen. I say take to it, he definitely had a few moments where it's panicked, but as a GT3 driver, it'd be great to see him actually attend Throttle Freaks. We should try and drop him a hint show and race that league indeed. But right now, let's take a look here at this battle. It's between Matt Taylor, indeed Nick Bruno right behind. It's Porsche versus Porsche, and it's one of the MadWorks racing machines, ladies and gentlemen. The pop-art Porsche indeed, the number 8 this time in the Pro Class.
Yeah, another one of the MadWorks paint jobs. I really like Nick Bruno's for some reason. So 2 Porsches going down the straightaway. Matt Taylor, Nick Bruno, Porsche on Porsche. Battle here. They go 15th, 16th place at this stage.
Well, certainly that Trash Panda Racing, ladies and gentlemen, seems to be having a lot of fun. I do remember that paint now that you mentioned it. Certainly, we got a variety of animals here at Throttle Freaks. We got pandas, we've even got camels, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ask me where. And indeed, we got a pipe fitter as well. Certainly, all kinds of different animals. But right now, Josh Gowen, he's currently there, running in P10 overall. Starting to get a little bit of pressure from behind him, Sean Provost. This is a battle for the GT3 M class, ladies and gentlemen. Pro-Am, my bad. As I believe Richard Swindells is crying again. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody get this man a box of Kleenex. Maybe we can get Rob to sponsor one or something for the show. Indeed, actually I learned some interesting things about tissue earlier today, but I'm not going to go into that. But right now, you can see here, Felix Feliz is currently having a little bit of a sweating session, ladies and gentlemen. The number 10, that Mustang, looking pretty cool while he does it. I've got to say, give him that credit where I do. He's got some game. But Jared Clean, right behind him, applying all sorts of pressure in that Lamborghini. Indeed, both of them making it down pit road. Right on the anchors, ladies and gentlemen, as a seasoned veteran of black flags on pit entry, these guys look like they got away with it pretty clean.
Yeah, it looks like they know what they're doing and know how to hit that pit limit or keep it in the pit lane appropriately. Well, that's going on. Jerome Berthume. Jerome Berthume has not taken his pit stop. Jerome Berthume now moving up to 9th place overall, looking to take advantage of maybe a little later pit strategy than everybody else, or not everybody else, but some of the people ahead of him. Jerome Berthume didn't qualify as well as we normally expect to see, but making a hard charge here, Zippity.
Yeah, definitely there's all sorts of people going down pit road right now, ladies and gentlemen. Must be about 6, 7, 8 cars down the pits. It indeed is a beehive of activity. The timing tower is, oh my gosh, this just got interesting. As indeed, these 2 guys were finding out before, and Felix has managed to hold on to that, albeit only just. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll take a replay of that if we could, Rob. That was absolutely phenomenal there. Maybe we get a point of view, potentially from the 22 there, of Jared Keane, as indeed he was very eager, side by side out pit road. That is fantastic stuff here at Throttle Freaks.
Yeah, that's good, solid racing. They're going to continue to battle, Zippy. I mean, you got to race onto pit road, off pit road. Your pit crew's got to be hit the marks. And man, oh man, that's some exciting action we've got here between Jared Keane making that move to the Lamborghini. So Jared Keane in the Lamborghini, Felix Feliz up ahead.
Well, indeed, on pit exit, they were both the meat sandwich in that Big Mac, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it looked like one of them to get the advantage. Here we go. We can see there on exit, almost. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through every possible camera angle to get this absolute beauty. It is indeed a drag race to the line. And, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the song was Up the Junction, but certainly Squeeze was indeed what was occurring.
No, that was definitely some good action. It looks like the rest of our leaders now into pit lane. Steve McDonald taking his service back out again. Steve McDonald on point in the lead right now. We'll see who comes out next. And it looks like it's going to be, yes, it's Tyler Graff coming out. Jack Hedgecock's right in behind him now. So this battle's getting a little bit tighter now. 1, 2, 3. Steve McDonald continues to hold about a 7-second lead, but Tyler Graff and Jack Hedgecock's less than half a second apart. Only 15 minutes left to go.
What's really interesting about that as well, Richard, is certainly on pit stop time, you'd think Stephen McDonald would have been a bit slower in the pits. Absolutely not. He was one of the quicker ones, ladies and gentlemen. 12.93 for him. Not only that, William Fenson in the Ferrari with a 12.88. However, Tyler Graff and Jack Hedgecock both in the 13 range and almost 14 for Tyler Graff. So I think that's how Hedgecock's got that little bit closer. And currently 0.5 of a second behind the MadWorks pop-art Porsche.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'd assume Steve McDonald, William Fenson have enough fuel, but they are definitely on the lower end of fuel takers out of all 36 cars. So that remains to be seen. But right now, Steve McDonald's got himself a decent enough lead. He could save some if he needed to, Zippy. We're going to go here, though. We've still got Jack Edgecoats and Tyler Graff battling. Down on the inset, we've got Dave Jensen and Bruno. So right now, Dave Jensen having himself a very good race. He's sitting in 18th place, up 4 position. Nick Bruno in behind in 19th.
Well, it looks like Nick Bruno is indeed being a unsanctioned customer of Dave Jensen's, definitely getting a tow, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to be very beneficial to him in the long run. But potentially, they've got to try and catch up to Matt Taylor ahead. Indeed, it's going to be 2 AMs chasing a pro, ladies and gentlemen. So I wish him the very best of luck. But right now, the AMG and indeed that Porsche looking to try and keep things going. Not only that, this is a battle for class, ladies and gentlemen, a battle for 2nd and 3rd in the AM Class Championship. Indeed, this could get very spicy between these 2 orange tangerines.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. I mean, good in-class battle. 32 minutes into the race, Jerome Berthiaume, after all the pit cycles done, he's in 13th. Jerome Berthiaume up 8 positions, making things up a little bit.
Well, it looks like somebody's got a little bit keen there on the pit entrance. Josh Gowen has picked up a black flag. I do have a feeling he was a little bit too keen on pit entry. I'll have to take a look at the replay there, but certainly picked up that black flag as indeed he is going down pit road. I've got to wonder, is it for unsafe entry, or was he indeed a little bit too fast for the stewards and definitely did not pass go, did not get that $200, but instead got a time penalty to say the least.
Yeah, Josh Gowen. Tremendous effort in starting up. But we'll go on board here. Replay action, thanks to our producer. See what happened, if we can pick up what may have happened here with Josh Gowen. Oh, it looks like everything looked okay on entry there. I didn't see him going off track, and I'm wondering if he just was speeding in the pits.
Yeah, definitely you can get a little bit too speedy there, as indeed on the way out he appears to have cleared the black flag at least, but don't get me wrong, the penalty was indeed a harsh one, ladies and gentlemen. He is currently fallen down. I say that now, down 4 positions. He was a hard charger up 13 spots before, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, speaking of hard chargers, don't get me wrong, there's still the pit cycles going on, but Matt Taylor's looking pretty good. He's currently there in P16, up 13 spots.
Yeah, that is quite impressive, that is for sure. Matt Taylor, like I said, up 13 spots. Herbert Pineda qualified a little deeper in the field than we're used to seeing him. He's up in behind. Up ahead. He's up 12 positions. So both drivers making some great gains tonight.
Oh, and we got a change for 2nd place, ladies and gentlemen, and Rob's already on it, ladies and gentlemen. The number 88 there, making a move on that pop-off Porsche, the 771 there of Tyler Graff as he goes down the start, finish straight. Hedgecoats absolutely getting it done under the toe, under the brake, ladies and gentlemen, and moved his way ahead. See a little bit of compression for the left side of the suspension, but indeed, it looks like they've reversed it again. Tyler Graff able to fight back.
Yeah, we'll see how Tyler Graff making this move. It's one thing to get a position. You've got to hold the position right now. And Tyler Graff taking the inside line. Jack Edgecoats going wide. Tyler Graff just slipping in front.
Absolutely beautiful stuff here, and indeed the order is reversed again. Currently though on lap time, Stephen McDonald is absolutely the man to beat. He's still in the 41s, ladies and gentlemen, the only guy on the track who is. These 2 drivers, however, low 42s, indeed a 42 flat from Hedgecoats, so certainly he's got the pace, but not quite enough to challenge Stephen McDonald today. And indeed, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there one lap where indeed Graff was able to catch up a little bit, but the consensus is pretty consistent, ladies and gentlemen, that McDonald is absolutely a force to be reckoned with. Yeah,
he's definitely shown his pace and shown his consistency week in, week out here at Throttle Freaks. We're going to go back a little further through the field, though, Zippy. We got a little more action back here with David Morse in 25th place. David Morse having himself a battle with Pete Mejia up ahead.
Well, I was about to say, Pete Mejia is doing absolutely fantastically, ladies and gentlemen. He's competing there in the Pro-Am class, if I'm not mistaken, and indeed, yeah, he's currently in P24 for the P34, and not only that, driving a absolutely wonderful choice, ladies and gentlemen, that lovely McLaren. Certainly, you've definitely got a good variety of cars here at Throttle Freaks. The Aston Martin, a little bit underrepresented, as indeed we got another change for P2. But Tyler Graff picked up a yellow flag as well, and we're going to have to take a look at the replay.
Yeah, coming down the straightaway here, the start-finish line. Jack Edgecoats pulling out, dipping in the corner. And, whoa! Tyler Graff catching some curb and then a little bit of air. That Porsche showing a little bit of its rally heritage, going airborne there.
Yeah, honestly, for a second, I thought he could have got endorsed by Nike there. He certainly got air indeed. And Yeah, Nike, by all means, it was a compliment. By all means, don't sue me. But right now, you can see there the 771, the pop-art Porsche is looking absolutely incredible, I might add. But certainly, he's got to try and make sure he can stay with Hedgecoats. Indeed, these two drivers on pace are pretty similar, but he needs to stay in the tow. Don't get me wrong, I don't think they've got enough time to try and catch up there to Stephen McDonald. He's about 8.5, almost 9 seconds ahead. I think the battle's going to be between these two for the second step of the podium.
I think you're right, Zippy. Steve McDonald's way up the track. We're 36 minutes into this race. Lap 21, project about 27 laps, depending upon how the pace keeps going. Take a look at what's going on back in the mid-pack here. Mark Kalin coming up the inside. Mark Kalin in 25th place, having himself a good little battle there. It looks like Barry Cochran. We're going to follow on with some other drivers. Oh, man, we've got some incidents going on here. All kinds of cars off. David Morris off into the dirt.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly what happened here to David Morris, as that is a unforced error for sure. Absolutely bouncing down that wall. Maybe go back even further. Here we go. The Mustang right behind. I do have to wonder if we got maybe a little bit of contact here. That is exactly what happened. A little bit of contact, and it's fair to say that that Ferrari becoming very familiar with the steel fence.
Yeah, it was rather unfortunate. Dave Morris making a move, and that the car was already there. So, back on board here. Take a look at live action. We've got Mr. James Hand in first overall right now for amateur, graciously providing us with that camera perspective as well. If you want to have your in-car cam, just post it up. We've got it in Discord. Instructions on how to do so. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge change of dynamic there. You start putting on the driver cams, ladies and gentlemen, it just starts to look even more realistic. Certainly, I personally would love to see somebody sim race in a helmet. I think that would be hilarious and entertaining for the stream. Indeed, I do actually know a Twitch streamer who does it, and we use it as a channel reward just to mess with him at this point because, you know, we just like to mess with him, who wouldn't, right? But right now, Jared Keane is indeed motivated to try and make his way forward. As we take a look back here at Andrew Bernaro, who sees the opportunity right ahead in the form of Carsten Quinn and indeed Dave Jensen as well. Dave Jensen currently there. He lost out to Nick Bruno not that long ago, and indeed Bruno able to get ahead. Jensen dropping back a little bit, but still third in the amateur class.
Yeah, nice close four-car battle, Zippy. 39 minutes into this race, so that's what you like to see when you get these big 36-car fields. Good close racing up and down the field late into the race. Makes it exciting for everyone involved. You know, the racers, the people at home, and us here in the booth. Absolutely fantastic. So I've got to say, I do approve of the sponsor on the rear wheel arch there of that Solpack Precision Racing Yellow, Cosworth. Ladies and gentlemen, Cosworth, if you don't know them, they got some pretty cool names to this. They're, you know, pretty cool achievements to name. The biggest one probably being the Sierra Cosworth. And if you don't recognize that, the Escort Cosworth would pretty much the same thing, but a different body shell. Certainly the old whale tail, what they'd be very famous for. But nowadays they're known realistically for a lot of engineering as well. But I do believe they are featured quite heavily in the Dallara LMP2. Take a look at the steering wheel next time you drive it. I'll take a look the next time I get into an LMP2, but I guess you're talking a virtual one, Zippy, because that's that's a little bit out of our price range. Take a look here. William Benson and Jason Park, 4th and 5th right now.
Yeah, I definitely ain't got that kind of money, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly I did indeed mean the virtual one. If you do have the money for an LMP2 and you'd like to let Richard Swindell sit in it, please write to us at Racer Nexus. By all means, Rob's probably got some kind of contact information up there. And I would happily love to see Richard get into an LMP2. Don't get me wrong, have the jaws of life on hand to get him back out again, but certainly it would be a fantastic experience. A crane. That feels a little bit harsh. That feels a little bit harsh.
Just an engine hoist. That'll get me out.
Yeah.
With the racing continues here, folks. Jay Steffi, 6th place. Jay Steffi up 1 position. Jason Park ahead of him. William Benson ahead of him. Nice 3-car battle. 5 minutes left. We just got about 4 laps to go. So drivers are looking to get the most they can out of this effort.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the count is going to be a 5 or 6. I do think we need to get something like that, Rob, just for giggles. Just for giggles, we need to get something like that, and we should get a separate one for you too, because you're Richard's a bit easier to get caught out than you are, but right now, certainly Richard? No, gosh, no. William Fenson is currently here in P4. As I say that,
oh, no.
Jason Park with the move on the inside, and it looks like Jay Steffi, he's got a cheerleader in the chat in the form of CNC car, but it looks like they may have something to shout out about, ladies and gentlemen. Steffi in the 247 is looking to try and do a little bit of buy one, get one free. He got the slipstream. Is he going to be able to get it done in the braking for the Ferrari? Quite balanced. Porsche, very late on the brakes, absolutely drops an anchor, ladies and gentlemen. That thing could have sunk the Titanic, but it's not been enough as William Fenson takes back P number 5.
Yeah, a little bit reminiscent of what happened with Jack Edgecoast and Tyler Graff earlier. William Fenson fighting back the hard-charging Jay Steffi right now. William Fenson not giving up, though. He's starting to apply back to the pressure of Jason Park, so this three-car battle is going to go right down to the line, I think, Zippy.
Well, I'm definitely okay with that, and indeed, it's 2 Porsches versus Ferrari. He's going to be in the middle of that sandwich, or don't get me wrong, it's 2 pros and a Pro-Am, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, fair play, Jason Park is doing absolutely fantastically. He's got a great lead there over his next series competition, which is Felix Feliz. Saying that, Jay Steffi makes a move on Fenson. Is it going to be enough? Looks like Fenson's going to fight back. Indeed, Ferrari versus Porsche as they take the inside.
Yeah, all that's going on. Jason Park loving them battling in behind, letting him getting a little bit of a gap. They're still side by side, though. Still side by side. Jay Steffi around the outside. William Fenson on the inside. It's going to set him up coming down the straightaway. Jay Steffi tucked in behind Jason Park, getting a little bit more draft. Is he going to have enough? It's going to be a matter of who breaks latest here, Zippy.
Well, you see there William Fenson trying to force him to go a little bit further over to the track, and certainly Jay Steffi was not having any of it there. They've got to be really careful with the off-track limits as well. Certainly, you pick up a yellow flag here, you pretty much guarantee that position has gone as well. Very brave cameraman. Ladies and gentlemen, we did get consent. They did sign the waiver, and indeed, they've not been killed by too many Porsches. Certainly not quite low enough. The Lamborghini, on the other hand, you know, we sharpened up the rear split, the front splitter, just to make sure it would be a clean cut. But right now, indeed, Jarrett Keane in the Lamborghini is very much motivated as he's been battling here with Felix Feliz for a good portion of this race, ladies and gentlemen, but not quite been able to get it done.
Yeah, even with those 2 extra cylinders, Zippy, Jared Keane having himself a great, tough battle with Felix Feliz. Felix Feliz not blinking. He's managed to stay ahead for lap after lap. We've been following this for, it seems like forever, at least 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, definitely multiple battles going on throughout. Indeed, it looks like Dave Jensen's still holding on as well. He's had Carsten Quint behind him as Pete Mejia has just managed to take a spot as well from Mark Kalin.
Yeah, Pete Mejia on a little bit of recovery. He had that incident early on, and Pete Mejia moving up another position. So one step at a time. Looking forward to next week, I think, though, at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. That is the beautiful and indeed the harsh thing about having a large grid, ladies and gentlemen. If you happen to make a little bit of a scenic detour without the consent of a travel agent or indeed the guidance, it can end up being a very, very expensive mistake very, very quickly. Certainly the biggest thing was the car did not take damage here. But right now we're seeing the Sole Track Precision Racing Yellow, the driver, Carsten Quint, on this occasion in the 555, looking to try and make his way up to P3 for the amateur class. There's definitely a lot on the line here, and Dave Jensen very much holding on to it for now.
Definitely is. We're going to go back here, though, with William Fenson and Jay Steffi. That battle continuing right now. Jason Park, quite happy to see it underway. Jason Park about 2 seconds up the road. William Fenson, though, Jay Steffi, just half a second apart. Just running out of time here. We got 1 minute and 5 seconds left. They are on lap at 26. They're going to have one more to go when they cross the start-finish line. And that will be it. So if Jay Steffi wants to get P5, he's going to make that move quickly. Jay Steffi up beside him. See what happens.
But right now, Ian Cabana just getting a little bit of screen time there in the Hot Wheels machine, and see Jeff Evans a little bit further back. But let's indeed try and return to the action here of Jay Steffi and indeed William Fenton, as these two guys are indeed going side by side yet again. Ladies and gentlemen, they are indeed starting to tango, and very, very much so. They got a good rhythm going, but don't get me wrong, the song is almost at an end here, as Jay Steffi has been applying all of the pressure here. Fenton very much on the back foot at this point. I think Steffi has successfully managed to get inside the driver's head of that Ferrari, but has not been able to make it count where it really matters on the standings.
Yeah, he's sticking it up the inside right now, and on the inset we've got Felix Feliz, Jared Keane also having their battle. Up top, though, side by side, William Fenton continuing to hold up Jay Steffi. Jay Steffi going the long way around. Not going to be able to get a move done on this corner.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of over and under going on, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I think at this point they've got to start to think about it strategically. Are you going to get enough of a track on the start-finish straight to go and make it there before you get to the start-finish? I'm going to say probably not. You're going to have to get the move done before that and then defend with everything you can possibly get. But right now, I do believe we are on the final lap, as that looks like another late-breaking maneuver there. As what a absolute launch. Certainly the Porsches here, very much looking to get some airtime.
Well, they've demonstrated they know how to fly, but fortunately they always land wheel side down, shiny side up. William Fenson, oh no, William Fenson getting off onto the, oh my goodness, off onto the curb, out onto the dirt. William Fenson. That is the opportunity Jay Steffi was looking for. Jay Steffi up to 5th, but William Fenson dropping down.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did say that Jay Steffi had got into the mind of that car ahead, or now behind there of William Fenson. You can see there the pressure finally became too much, and indeed as he goes through the left-hander, just gets a little bit there, catches a little bit of the curve. I'd say probably quite a low suspension setup, got a little bit wriggly, but thankfully able to keep it away from the wall.
The battle continues though with Felix Feliz. Felix Feliz having to continue his battle, and right now Felix Feliz is in 6th, but we're going to go back on board, watch, take a look at Steve McDonald. Steve McDonald has led this race for quite some time, Zippy, and having commanding lead. Right now he's got a 10-second lead as he crosses the start-finish line. Steve McDonald, our winner overall and first in pro.
I was going to say, what an absolutely phenomenal recovery by the driver of the 88, Jack Hedgecock. Don't get me wrong, he started on pole, he had the pace, and indeed, he's done well to get P2. Tyler Graf, don't get me wrong, we saw him getting some battles earlier, he was P3, but indeed, this is the biggest battle we've got going on the track right now. It is indeed between these two gentlemen here, Felix Feliz and indeed Jarrett Keane. These guys were side by side on the pit exit, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed, this is the battle for P2 in the Pro-Am class, but right now, it looks like they've really spaced it out here. Absolutely huge gap at the end of that, but we have a look a little bit further back here as Brett Furman for SRTE Black is currently getting some pressure here from Jerome Berthiaume.
He's getting that pressure, but James Hand, he comes in and he takes amateur victory. Going along here with Karsten Quint. Karsten Quint in 18th place. Karsten Quint is like having that battle with Andrew Granaro across the start-finish line. Looks like he's going to hold him off for this one.
A little bit of damage there on the front of Nick Bruno's car, as well as Dave Jensen. He was in a battle earlier on with Karsten Quint. What happened there?
Not too sure, Zippy. Lots of action happening. We couldn't cover it all, unfortunately.
That's a hint of Rob. Let's see it. Thank you, sir. All right, so you can see the 692 here of Dave Jensen. That's already Karsten Quint ahead and gets an absolute tank slapper going. Thankfully, able to avoid the tow, at least on this occasion. He might have enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it's been a long and busy race, but definitely the laying pipe machine definitely ended up slipping on a little bit of pipe himself. As indeed, we've got an incident here for Josh Cohen in the 888. Now, we saw him get a little bit of an excursion early on, goes to make a move up the inside, doesn't quite pay off, but good sportsmanship there, slows down to let the AMG retake the position.
That's when you make a mistake like that, it's best and nicest and most courteous to own up to it. Josh going, waiting, giving that position back, not making a pass under those circumstances.
Oh, definitely great sportsmanship there indeed. But ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely fantastic event it was. And I already see we have a few people lined up looking for an interview. Well, hold on. You got to wait a second. Here's the result. Stephen McDonald took the lead by 10.37 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, he was absolutely on it. Jack Hedgecoach took second with Tyler Graf in third. That's the pop-art Porsche. Jason Park, he didn't just take the Pro-Am win. He indeed took P4 overall with Jay Steffi in fifth. Felix Feliz in sixth with Jarrett Keane in seventh. William Fenson took eighth with Ryan O'Connor in ninth. And Sean Provost rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, we had Brett Thurman in 11th with Jerome Berthiaume in 12th. James Hand was 13th. And we had Kevin Bergquist in 14th. Herbert Pineda 15th. Matt Taylor came in 16th. Then we had Nick Bruno and Karsten Quint 17th and 18th.
Having a look there at 19th, indeed, it was Andrew Bonaro with Frank Pisano rounding out your top 20. Dave Jensen, the pipe layer, the towing man, and indeed the interesting individual he is. He took 21st with Jeff Evans in 22nd. Pete Mahia, he took... Mahia? Mejia, ladies and gentlemen, 3 goes, and I still got it right. Pete Mejia, I do apologize. You took 23rd at being Cabana in 24th. Colin McKenzie takes 25th with Josh Gowen in 26th. Drew DeWeese takes 27th with Dale Peterson taking 28th.
And rounding out our field in 29th, we had David Morse, Evan Jones 30th, and Mark Kalin 1 lap down in 31st. Christopher Rhines a lap down 32nd. Then we have the people who didn't quite have the race they're looking for. Neil Alexander down 3 laps in 33rd. Barry Crocker in 34th. Gonzalo Corca did not finish. And Sully Sad did not start this race, I don't believe.
Yeah, definitely 27 laps down. He's even I could beat that pace, ladies and gentlemen. But indeed, we're going to have a chat with a couple of drivers. The question is, who do we get first? Certainly, Jack Hedgecock appears to be the highest position finish there. But I do see my comrade is, you can say, stirring the pot. But we're going to get him back with that later, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly. Let's see who we're going to bring in first. As we got Jack Hedgecock, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to say, Jack, I've spoke to you before, and I've got to say, absolutely phenomenal pace here. But definitely not the start you was looking for. Cold tires, maybe a little bit of a learning moment for you there.
Yeah, that's what I get for not doing much practice. I had about 15 minutes before the quali started, so I didn't get much cold tire practice, that's for sure. But yeah, I saw P2 and 3 battling at the start, and I really wanted to pull away and not be the front of a, pushing a hole in the air for everyone else to save behind. So I thought by the end of the lap I could be able to take the corner kind of like I would in the race, and yeah, it just wouldn't stick with the cold tires. So that's on me, but just happy I could at least recover and finish in second by the end. So.
I got to say, it was an absolutely fantastic recovery. Certainly, you did drop back pretty far through the field. Indeed, so did some of your nearest competition as well. Gonzalo Cortez had a very similar incident as well. But yourself, however, able to make it back up to P2. I've got to say, absolutely phenomenal stuff there. Indeed, I do understand you had a teammate in this race as well. Certainly, you was complimenting before just how well you guys worked together. What can you tell us about your preparation, other than the fact it was 15 minutes? But certainly, yourself and your teammate, I believe it was where they got Josh Gowen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at that. That's unfortunate timing for you, as we see you getting a little bit sideways. Looking good while doing it. But yourself and Josh Gowen there, what could you say has been your strategy going into this race?
Shoot. I'll be honest, both of us we've been busy this week. So this race, not so much, but usually we both try and attend either group practice on a week we weren't so busy. But tonight, it was drive to survive, and just get at least a little bit of practice beforehand in the prior. But no, he's usually really, I think he was actually doing really well, and he got a speeding in the pits on the exit actually. So it was unlucky for him. He would have done a lot better tonight, but regardless, I think he overall should be able to bounce back next week, especially for him.
Well, definitely a good haul of points there for Gowen Racing. But Jack, we are indeed going to let you go. Is there anybody else you'd like to shout out before we do so? And indeed congratulate you on your second place.
Shout out to Gowen Racing Team, Josh, like I said, and then anyone that's watching, and then shout out to my dad who's usually watching this, and then shout out to Logitech that supplied the rig I use. So appreciate to everybody that supports us.
Well, nicely done, ladies and gentlemen. This man obviously so quick. They want to send him free goodies. Got to say, fair play. Which Logitech did they send you? Is it their new direct drive by chance?
Yeah, I got sent the Logitech G Pro setup, like the direct drive. Yeah, so it was a big upgrade from a G29. It's pretty awesome.
Well, I've got to say, definitely pleased to hear you got some nice new gear, and indeed Logitech sent it to you. By all means, Jack, if you can, with a game like that, if you want to message me and potentially teach that, I would very much like to learn how you do that. Fair play to you. Obviously, the man.
Hit me up. I got you.
There we go. There you go. Sorry, Rob, you're out. Me and Jack got to go talk business, but certainly some extraordinary talent there, not just on the track, but in the boardroom as well. Ladies and gentlemen, driver of the number 88 car, and indeed second place overall, Mr. Jack Hedgecock.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I do understand that Mr. Richard Swindows has been able to catch up with the one and only pop-up Porsche driver of Tyler Graff.
Hey there.
Hey, Tyler, congratulations. Quite the race there for you, and third place overall in this field. Must be thrilled.
Yeah, this is This is just one of those tracks that kind of I get. Elevation changes with flowy stuff just remind me of the kart tracks that I grew up on. So I think I kind of just take onto it like the fish to water. And we kind of did what we could this week. I don't think the Porsche really was the best car, but kind of like most weeks, I just focused on what I could do and what I was good at, and cranking the hell out of that brake bias. Last year I was talking about running it so far back. Now I'm running it so far forward. It's kind of crazy.
A little bit of different driving styles, I guess, depending upon how you're feeling. But
Yeah.
third place, we're going to the Bend next week. Have you done much racing there or practice?
I've never seen the place.
New for both of us.
I got some pretty good ADHD, so we can fixate on new things pretty well. So I got some confidence that we'll learn the track, and we'll be all right next week. But I don't know. I'm just happy that I'm third here. Our expectations going into the season were top tens, and being able to punch above my weight like this is good for my confidence. I just wish it would carry to official.
Well, I mean, you're definitely doing something right, because this is not the first time we've spoken to you this season. Congratulations, Tyler. You want to give your shout outs tonight?
Yeah, thanks to everybody here at the league for putting everything on. You guys for broadcasting, the guys at MadWorks, the guys at Lunatic, and everybody just love each other. Give each other a hug. Protect your neighbors.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. Always appreciate your message.
Yep, have a good one, guys.
One thing I've definitely got to wonder about Tyler is what on earth is hotmilk.co.uk? It's written on the back of his car. I don't know if I want to type it in and find out, but certainly we got to ask him at some point. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a chat here with the one and only Mr. Jason Park. Not only were you the fastest Canadian today, but you also took the Pro-Am win. Absolutely fantastic stuff, Jason, and some good battles as well. Tell us all about it from your point of view, from the drive of the 55.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to kind of be at the top step, even though it's in class. It's been a while since I've been up here. Had some good battles with William and Jay there. We were able to get William at the end, so Jay and I got some solid points for the team this race.
Well, that's definitely a good result and a pretty clean race as well. First place in the Pro-Am and indeed P4 overall is nothing to shake a stick at. And indeed, we've got to say, what an absolutely fantastic drive. But we are heading over to the Bend for next week. Now, certainly this is one of the newer circuits in the iRacing service availability. How do you feel about that? Because so far, most people I've spoke to, unless your name is Reese Gardner, have never heard of it.
I've never raced it, so it'll be new. Hopefully I get some time, maybe a couple days leading up to it to get some runs in, but we'll see how next week goes.
Well, absolutely fantastic stuff there. Ladies and gentlemen, fourth place overall, and indeed the first place Pro-Am, the driver of the number 55, the Riot Motorsports machine, is Jason Park.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Well, I do understand Mr. Richard Swindells has been able to catch up with Felix Feliz, who came P6 overall.
Hey, guys.
Felix, congratulations on second in class tonight.
Yeah, I gotta say, Keen kept me honest the most of the race. It was a really, really fun race. Glad to be back. Had to miss a few races, equipment issue, traveling, but man, these boys make my Tuesdays really fun.
It looked like a lot of fun out there. We watched, we followed that battle with you and Jared quite some time. Him making the switch over to the Lambo, and you in the Ford. It's nice to have you back. It's been a while, I think, since we've spoken to you, but we always appreciate the racing efforts. Next week we're at the Bend. Are you ready for the Bend? Do you know the Bend?
Actually, no. I've never raced there, so looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. Well, you know what? You're not alone based on the previous interviews and based on the announcers here as well. So it's going to be new for all of us. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Anybody you'd like to shout out tonight, Felix?
Of course, the boys over at SEE, Buck and Waldo. Hopefully they'll be back next season. And of course, my beautiful wife, since she allows me to race on Tuesday nights.
Awesome. Well, you can't forget the people that matter most. Thanks a lot, and congratulations, Felix. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys. See you. Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that indeed was Felix Feliz. As we chat to the last person we're going to interview today, my fellow Brit. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Hand, the Hypno Minds driver, and indeed the driver of the 744, absolutely ran away with it in the amateur class. I got to say, I think you may be sandbagging a little bit there, sir. You had incredible pace today and a clean race as well. Tell us a little bit about how you felt for this particular venue.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. Struggled a lot on the last corner. I just could not get the speed out of that last corner, so I just lost a little bit on the straight. But no, just really happy with it. Yeah, I'm good with it.
Well, I got to say, James, one thing that's puzzled me the entire time that that I've been working here with Racing Nexus and indeed with Throttle Freaks is how on earth, like in the UK, it's going to be about 3 o'clock in the morning. What kind of work schedule have you got, like, that you manage that? By all means, just try and put this one out of my confusion, because it's sheer determination and dedication, but then to be that quick as well, I don't know what you've got, but it sounds like some quality gear.
No, I just put the practice in and stuff, and then obviously because like the race is actually late in the UK, so I sort of have like a 2-hour sleep beforehand before the practice starts, and then I go to sleep at like 3:30 in the morning, and then get back up at like 6:30 in the morning to go to work and stuff. But it's good fun, and I enjoy it. So some good races.
Well, certainly the most dedicated driver, and indeed certainly the winner of the AM class today. It's Mr. James Hand. I got to say, that is incredible loyalty to Throttle Freaks, and indeed it's paid off, ladies and gentlemen. What a absolute result! Yet again, taking a podium here in the AM class. It's James Hand for the 744 Porsche 911. Well, I got to say, ladies and gentlemen, that is mind blown. Like, honestly, absolutely mind blown there. That's dedication right there, is indeed James Hand able to take that AM class win. But unless you guys have got any further thoughts, I think it's just about time to bring this show to a close. Ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely fantastic evening here on Racer Nexus. Certainly, it's been a pleasure being in the booth. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, the one and only Mr. Richard Swindells, who does need a nickname, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, put your suggestions in the Discord, in the chat. Send him a PM, send me a PM. I don't mind. I want to hear what you guys have got for suggestions. By all means, we'll even take a vote on it. How about that? Not only that, we have Mr. Rob Campbell there, the goatee himself, joining us for the production controls. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and if you would like to be involved in racing this league, you got to join up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting ready for another season very, very shortly. I say shortly, I think it's 10 rounds, ladies and gentlemen, so we're about halfway through at this point, but you got to be there if you want to be involved. But thank you very much for watching. My name's Daniel Zippy Salmon, and be sure we'll see you next time for more Throttle Freaks.
Good night.